Washington last week, that city's crime fight went into overdrive. And now we're seeing the impact and the dramatic reductions in crime. When the National Guard rolled into Washington last week, the locals seemed skeptical.
The crime is minimal here. There's not really a lot of crime here. It looks like window dressing to me.
But with the Guard on the ground, crime is on the decline. For the first time in a long time, D.C. has gone 7 days without a homicide. And that's not all. Carjackings are down 83%. Robberies are down 46%. Car thefts down 21%. And overall violent crime is down 22%.
When you have these kind of numbers going down, it basically says this is a success, and that means people feel safer.
Like many big cities, Washington's police department is critically short-staffed.
People who don't feel safe aren't free.
Sergeant Betsy Smith with the National Police Association says it is ripe for federal help.
More police generally equals less crime.
Abdullah Salim runs this boxing gym in the Trinidad neighborhood where he mentors local teens.
We need order in our city. If you don't have no order, you ain't got no city.
He hasn't seen an increased presence in his neighborhood either, but he says he supports what the president is doing.
I've been seeing a lot of atrocity, a lot of murders, a lot of innocent children, a lot of innocent babies, and there's nothing done about it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, these politicians are getting what they want. The far left black male politicians, and I'm not black male, I mean black male politicians are getting what they want, which is exposure in the front of the world. And you have to understand that these people have been itching for this for a while. So Brandon Johnson has been itching for a fight with Donald Trump. Wes Moore, who I'm going to tell you, Wes made a horrific mistake, and we will get to him next. Wes Moore being a greater threat than Brandon Johnson will ever be. Wes Moore got his behind tore into today for trying to play politics. And honestly, out of all the candidates that I thought that out of the Democratic Party that had an opportunity to be president, it was Wes Moore. But he made the just crucial mistake of going further to the left. And I don't understand who's consulting these guys or who's telling them that you should, when the whole world, and you can see the whole world is pivoting towards the center. The whole world is rejecting globalism. The Democratic Party itself has come out with talking points of words you should not say that didn't work. Why would you continue to go to the left other than you're just determined to destroy yourself? As you guys know, Donald Trump said that he was going to send the National Guard into Chicago next. And the response from the mayor of Chicago is a combination of a word salad, a deer in headlights kind of stare, and then a bunch of woke language. It's almost as if this man is possessed by something when you look closely at him. It's almost as if Brandon Johnson is possessed by a dumb spirit. You know what I'm saying? Not a mute spirit, but just a dumb spirit. Take a listen.
I'm going to play something else President Trump said on Friday with regard to your city.
Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent, and we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this, and it won't even be tough.
Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Your reaction to what you just heard.
Yeah. Well, listen, the President of the United States of America has repeated this, petulant presentation since he has assumed office. And, if the reporting is actually true, what he is proposing at this point would be the most flagrant violation of our Constitution in the 21st century. The city of Chicago does not need a military occupation. That's not what we need. In fact, we've been very clear about what we need. We need to invest in people to ensure that we can build safe and affordable communities. That's what I've done as mayor since assuming office. It's unfortunate that this president is working overtime to divide and in his attempt to conquer working families and to conquer cities across America. But this is clearly a violation of the Constitution, and we're going to remain firm and vigilant in our commitment to ensure that our democracy is protected and our humanity is secured.
This Negro is reading from a teleprompter. That's why his look is like that. That was him reading from a teleprompter. Watch how my view changes when I read. And I'm gonna assume the stupid Brandon Johnson position. Hold on, let me get my microphone squared away. I have to fold my arms. He looked stunned, then delivered a stuttering Kamala-style word salad response, dodging the question entirely and refusing to confront the city's exploding crime crisis. He was reading from a script. You know, as a black man in America, and don't refute that because people be like, oh, you're an American. No, my ass is black. I'm a black American. I am so over these rank devil ass black politicians, whether it be the mayor of my city, New Orleans, who was sleeping with her security guard while she was married, running around all over the world, taking flights, who's actually, she was the head of the World Economic Forum Globalist Mayors Group. And I want you to know, Brandon Johnson, Karen Bass, T.D., the mayor of Washington, D.C., all of these people who are a part of the Globalist Mayors Group sponsored by the World Economic Forum. Just in case you didn't know, you can look it up for yourself. They're all a part of a group. And I'm so sick and damn tired of black people just not only underperforming, because this is not underperformance. This is you just a damn devil in office. Just a damn devil. And then I'm even furthermore sick and tired of black people not acknowledging the fact that these people is damn demons. And then giving them passes. I don't even want to go to New Orleans politics. You guys notice I don't really hit on New Orleans politics because I don't want to go tear open wounds with enemies that have healed. But I get calls all the time people want me to take a job, and I'm like, no, bro, I don't want to mess with it because it's just stupid. Y'all stupid. Like, how can I consult you on common sense things? Oh, James, such and such running for mayor, man. He got that felony, and we trying to figure out what we can do social media wise to change his image. Ain't a goddamn thing you can do to change his image. G-O-T, not G-O-D. Got damn thing. Because y'all like to say, oh, you took the Lord's name in vain. G-O-T. That's what we say in New Orleans. G-O-T. Got damn thing you can do to change his image. The only thing you can rely on is ignorance. And the problem with relying on ignorance to get in office is when ignorance votes a person like this in office, like Brandon Johnson, the outcome is ignorance. And it doesn't matter if they're black or white. You can go to plenty of liberal cities where there's a white mayor and they were voted in by pure on ignorance. And then that's the fruit of it. The tree is ignorance. The fruit is ignorance and violence. Now I want to switch over to Wes Moore. Because out of all the people I'm disappointed in, I thought Wes Moore was somebody that had some damn sense, but he don't. And let me say this for those who watch me, who are in political circles, that are friends with Wes. I want to say this to you. You ain't no good friend to this man. Yeah. You ain't no good friend to Wes Moore. Because what you should have said was, hey, Wes, you have a military background. You're a very attractive man with a strong presence. You need to lean into the center. When everybody's going hard left, you need to turn towards the center, and then you will win. You'll win. Or, furthermore, what you should have did was you should have just switched parties, and then you would have been guaranteed to win. But instead, Wes Moore comes out, and if you're going to come out and attack the president of the United States like a slugger like Donald Trump, you can't even come out with this kind of BS like these little softball shots at the man. Oh, Trump's DC crackdown not sustainable is costing over $1 million a day. No duh. So, Wes, how much is life worth in your city? Is it worth $1 million a day to stop somebody's daughter from getting shot by a stray bullet in the window. This is how easy this is. Wes Moore, is it worth $1 million a day to stop someone's grandma from being carjacked and pistol whipped? Wes Moore, is it worth $1 million a day to ensure that people can walk, the kids can walk to school safely and not through gang territories? This is easy. And it speaks to the state of the political consultants that's in the Democratic Party. Y'all a bunch of damn idiots. Bunch of damn idiots.
It's quiet here in Washington as we come on the air this morning, but the debate is heating up over President Trump's calling up of nearly 2,300 National Guardsmen, along with federal agents from ICE, the ATF, the Drug Enforcement Agency, the FBI, and others, to patrol the streets of the city alongside D.C. police forces. And we're seeing yet another instance of Trump's expanding of the federal government's reach, this time when it comes to control of police in local communities. Will we see pictures like these in other U.S. cities in the future? Well, one of the places President Trump has mentioned as needing help fighting crime is nearby Baltimore. And joining us right now is Maryland's Democratic Governor, Wes Moore. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So here in D.C., there are guardsmen from 6 different states on the street. The mission is, quote, beautification, duty, and support. The defense secretary has authorized them to carry M4 and M17 rifles, but to date, we have not been able to locate anyone armed within the National Guard on the streets of D.C. Why, though, are you so opposed to this deployment?
Well, there's plenty of reasons. One, it is not sustainable. You cannot continue this type of pace of operations, particularly when it's costing over $1 million a day in order to do this. The second, it's not scalable. You're not going to be able to do this in every single major American city, particularly when many of the cities that have the highest crime rates are the places that have actually deployed their National Guards to Washington, D.C. So who's going to go do the work in their cities? The third, it's unconstitutional. It's a direct violation of the 10th Amendment. And if for a party that talks about state rights, it's amazing how they're having such a big government approach in the way they're conducting public safety. The fourth reason is because it's deeply disrespectful to the members of the National Guard. As someone who actually deployed overseas and served my country in combat, to ask these men and women to do a job that they're not trained for is just deeply disrespectful. And so when we're thinking about all of these lasting factors, when we're thinking about the fact that it serves as a distraction from the fact that the president's disastrous economic policies are making everything more expensive for everyday Americans and making life harder for everyday Americans, there is a multitude of reasons that I am against this, and I will not authorize the Maryland National Guard to be utilized for this.
I don't know who gave him these dumbass talking points. Like, what is wrong with you, Wes? Who gave you these stupid talking points? I'm serious. Like, who gave this man these stupid talking points, which are all easily refutable? But furthermore, if I'm in any kind of debate with him, I'm not refuting the talking points. I'm just crashing down on the fact that you put dollars over people's lives. And then it spirals out of control because he gets into this tit for tat with Donald Trump. And it's just, you're not going to win in any kind of verbal back and forth with Donald Trump. Like, you're just not going to win. You're better not to not engage it. But I'll say this. The reason why he was engaged is because he's the only person in the Democratic Party at this point in time that poses a threat. You only engage people who pose as a threat or can be a threat. Anybody else, it's just, it makes no sense to even pay attention to them. And to see how bad it is for Wes Moore, let's come to Truth Social. Donald Trump. Governor Wes Moore of Maryland, when asked in a rather nasty and provocative tone that I walked the streets of Maryland with him. I assume he's talking about the out of control, crime-ridden Baltimore. As president, I would much prefer he clean up the crime disaster before I go there for a walk. Wes Moore's crime record on crime is a very sad one, unless he fudges his figures on crime like many other blue states are doing. But if Wes Moore needs help, like Gavin Newsom did in L.A., I will send in the troops, which is being done in nearby D.C., and quickly clean up the crime. After 1 week, there is no crime and no murder in D.C. When it is like that in Baltimore, I will proudly walk the streets with the failing with the failing because of crime governor of Maryland, Baltimore. P.S. Baltimore is ranked in the fourth worst city in the nation in crime and murder. Stop talking and get to work, Wes. I'll then see you on the streets. Also, I gave Wes Moore a lot of money to fix his demolished bridge. I will now have to rethink that decision. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. Donald J. Trump. Yeah, it's just, bro, Donald's different. You can't play them kind of games with Donald, Wes. Donald's different. And my hope was that if anybody would rise to power in the Democratic Party, it would be this man right here. And he would have some sense of common sense and morals. But he doesn't. He doesn't. And this party's dead. The Democratic Party is dead. When you look at here's CNN admitting that they're dead.
This is just a stunning analysis that the New York Times has out in the last couple of days. You've seen nationwide a drop in Democratic registration numbers. And in the battleground states, it's just as stark. Look at this. The share of registered Democrats down almost 4 points in Arizona just since 2020. Nevada, more than 8 points. North Carolina, Pennsylvania. All of these big battlegrounds have lost Democrats in large numbers, again, just this decade. So that just tells you how tough it's going to be for Democrats to fight their way back when it comes to control of Congress or potentially the presidency down the road. It's hard to create a wave if voters are fleeing your party.
Extraordinary that Democrats have lost more than 2 million registered voters just in the past 4 years, and Republicans have gained.
I do want to ask about a New York Times investigation showing that Democrats are losing registered voters in all 30 states that track party registration. We're putting on the screen the data. It shows altogether Democrats have lost 2.1 million voters. Republicans have gained 2.4 million. That's a deficit that you have of 4.5 million voters. Why are voters turning away from your party? What is the problem?
Most of that activity, as I understand it, has occurred in Florida and Texas. And certainly it is the case that nationally we're going to have to invest more in these two red states. At the end of the day, it's also going to be important for us to continue to make clear to the American people what we stand for as Democrats. We believe in a strong floor and no ceiling. In this country, you work hard, you play by the rules. There should be no ceiling as to what success you can accomplish for yourself, for your family, for your children, for your grandchildren, and your community. At the same period of time, we do, as Democrats, believe in a strong floor. That's a strong floor that is anchored in Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid, veterans benefits, nutritional assistance, and the Affordable Care Act, the things that Republicans are actually trying to detonate. That's the difference between Republicans and Democrats, and the more we can lean into what we stand for as a party, the better off we'll be moving forward.
And what amazes me the most about Democratic Party is you see they question Section 8 Obama about what the problem is, and they have yet to come to terms with it. It's one of the characteristics of wicked people. Like a wicked person just proceeds down the road that they're going, and they don't care, man. You can't convince them they're wrong. You can't change their mind. You can't do anything with them. That's why they have to be destroyed. And again, what bothers me is if you ever read the globalist white papers, in their white papers, they said they would find black men and women who were of less intelligence and put them in positions of power, and they would be in power while communism and socialism came in to bring in race riots and race wars. Why? Because everybody be upset, these like a Jasmine Crockett or like a Section 8 Obama or a Wes Moore or a Brandon Johnson. In the face of the downfall of America is a black face, even though the actual downfall of America is at the hands of the globalists. And you understand that these people agreed to this. This is why I don't have any remorse for what comes. I don't feel sorry for them whatsoever because they agreed to do this. They know what they're doing. DW hard on black people. I'm hard on everybody when it comes to politics. But at these people, yeah, I'm hard on them because they are a problem and they must go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see y'all on the next video. Hit the like button. Deuces.